More steam! Whoa! Hi everybody, good day to you. Welcome back. Time for impact gun cam. Wrong way. That was bad. Time for impact gun cam. There we go. Take two. Success. What we've got here today is a 2015 Ford F150. It's got a nasty vibration while braking. I just did a bunch of work to it yesterday on the transmission. We pulled the pan out, changed the filter, connected the BG fluid exchange machine, exchanged all of the fluid, installed a conditioner. Now we're moving on to segment 2.0. Classic front brake job. It's got a nasty lip worn into the rotors. Pads are at about 30 to 40% life left over. So we're gonna slap some pads and rotors on this bad boy. I'm also gonna do a complete fluid exchange on the brake system. So stay tuned, because this is gonna be a very good video. I forgot that one. Oops. I don't think I intended on filming this brake job, but you never get a second chance, so I figured why not. We'll film it. Man, I forgot the lug nut on that wheel too. I'm not sane this morning. Where's my gun? And you guys have it. It's over here. My coffee must not have become activated yet. Off wheel. Oh. Like I was saying, I don't know if I'm gonna air any of this footage right here. It's just a mundane brake job. Oh, we can't see. There's darkness. That's not good. No worries. I can bring the light. This one, and then I choose one of my little ones. Yeah, there's a weird situation with the lighting in the building where I've got lights everywhere, but this corner, since there is no light here, it's just huge amounts of shadows in this whole area. And I need to figure out what to do about that. I'll probably install more lights. See, the lighting in here wouldn't be so bad if it was like a multi-bay shop where half the building was open to the daylight. This just has the one door, no skylights and no windows in it, so the only daylight I get comes from like holes that are in the wall, like that one up there. See that little hole right there? That's kind of the only light that I get. There's some natural light coming through the hole right there. Yeah, not much. Like I said, I kind of want to cut a panel out right here and put in a ginormous window. But before I do that, I need to put in a ginormous door over there. A little bit at a time. Anyway, back to our task at hand here. Let's just double check the dealio lumens. Yeah, we've got a pretty nasty lip worn into that rotor. It makes a vibration, half pad life, maybe a little less. So we're just going to go ahead and slap some brakes on this unit. Back to impact gun cam if we're gonna fit. I don't know if you guys are gonna fit in here. I don't think this is gonna work. We're gonna try it though, see if it works. Yeah, not a chance. This is not really feasible. It makes my impact gun absolutely ginormous. Oh, it's got an apparatus dangling off of it. Put you guys down over here for a second. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work out, so we abandoned that idea right there. Here, I'll put that up top. Come here, brake pads. Let's get you guys out of here. Oh, fun fact, I was shopping for pads and I actually found a set and it said they had like carbon fiber in them, which I think that's kind of cool. I'm not entirely sure what that means, like whether they've got carbon fiber embedded in the friction material or maybe the backing plate's carbon fiber. I don't know, but it said carbon fiber on the pads, which is actually why I selected them. I'm kind of curious to see what the deal is. It probably just has carbon embedded in the friction material, and there's no visible difference between that and regular pads. But we're gonna try them out. We're gonna see how they work out for us. Hammer, we need hammer. Off. That's how you get high speed linear rotor gravity. All right, well, we got some crusty rust action going on here. What is this? Nothing too major. We'll hit that with a little polish wheel, clean it right up. Yeah, we'll just come on in with our little Ziz wheel here, get rid of the rust. Real quick, I need to get this area in between the studs where my, my little Ziz wheel couldn't reach.
Good to go.
No, we can't claim it's going to be shiny without actually making it shiny. Goodbye, contaminants. All right, let's head on over to the bench. And we'll bring the bracketry with us. We can lubricate our pins over here. It's just too dark in that corner. Clear some space here. There we go. That's done. There's our bracketry. There's our lubricant. Here are our slide pins. Let's pop these guys out, clean them off, and then re-lube them. Super duper easy. People just don't do it. All we gotta do is wipe it off. And a little bit of the purpley stuff. Excellent. I do not have my pad set here yet, so I'm not going to pull these shims just yet. I want to wait until my new ones get here, that way I can pull them one at a time and then match them up. So we'll just put this off to the side and go back and disassemble the rest of the truck. Same procedure. Spin that guy over, 2 bolts, 1 caliper, 1 bracket. Don't fall. Put that up there. I could hang it with a caliper hanger. I have plenty of them, but it'll be fine right here. It's not going to go anywhere. There's enough space to hold on to that thing. Loud. Tree moss. It's a Florida thing. That's what we do. Hammer. Come off. Wrench gravity. No problem. A little bit of Ziz wheel action and we'll decrustify this. A little bit of bristle action here. I don't know how effective this is, but for what it's worth, couldn't hurt. I did once upon a time have a rotary tool that goes over the studs, but I killed it and have yet replaced it, or have yet to replace it. So I'm back to the manual method of Ziz wheels and wire brushes and brake clean. Can you believe it? I'm actually using brake clean on brakes. Whoa. Shiny. Okie doke, so I don't have pads and rotors here just yet, so what I'm going to do is let this truck down and I'm going to go ahead and set up the brake fluid exchange machine. And if those parts don't show up by the time I'm done with that, I'll just go ahead and exchange all the fluid, and then we can finish putting parts back on. Because it would be silly to sit around and not do anything waiting for parts to arrive when I could do something. Now, in case you're wondering, I have already done a very detailed video on this fluid exchange procedure. I think it was on a 2013 Transit Connect van. Anyway, I'm not going to be so detailed on this particular procedure, but if you would like to see the full-length version of a fluid exchange, just go and visit the link down in this video's description, and it will take you to a Ford Transit, and I will show you how the fluid exchange is performed in greater detail. Not ready for that. Machine powering on. You know, speaking of BG stuff, I was talking to my guy today, and he was saying he just started watching my content, and now he's got himself saying "phew" when he shuts his truck off and making a bunch of goofy noises. So I've affected yet another person's brain cranium. Mission success. Now come here. My hose is hooked, and I can't get it, and it's stuck. What am I doing with my life? There we go. All right, crisis averted. Fix that problem that I created. So anyway, I'm just gonna suction a bunch of this fluid out of here. We're gonna get all the nasty out of the reservoir before we start pulling it through the system. There we go. Now would also be a good time to compress the pistons on the calipers and drive more of that fluid up into the master. It'll make for a cleaner fluid exchange. Powering down. One thing to keep in mind, compressing a caliper while another caliper has been removed is actually risky business, because what can happen is I can push these pistons in, and rather than sending the fluid up into the master cylinder, it can send it over to the other caliper and then push those pistons out. And if they get pushed out enough, they'll come out of their bore and then dump all the fluid everywhere and potentially create a situation where you're not going to be able to put that piston back in there. And that would be bad. So what I'm doing here is I'm just throwing some of these brake pads in that caliper kind of as a shim. And then I'll go around and compress that other side, and then I'll switch my pistons, or I'll switch my shims over and then compress that side over there. It's a little bit extra, like, physical work, you know, moving around and doing things, but I'm saving time because I'm waiting on parts and I'm kind of at a standstill. And I want to put my my fan belt back on the tow truck so I can tow some stuff with it. So when I'm done with this, I want to get back to back to the tow truck. But customer first, so I'll do the tow truck later. Point being, the more efficient I can make this, the better off we're all going to be. See that? Just in case. Back to the other side. Ooh, tight squeeze. You know, someone said I need to remove these shelves so I can fit through here a little bit better. That's a cool idea, but this is a part of the structure of the building. So if I tear all these shelves out, I gain 1.5 inches of walking space, which is, it's not worth the trade-off to not have the shelves because they're sort of useful. See, I throw stuff on them. So no, I'm not going to tear those shelves out of there. Not going to happen. Negative. So back to the task at hand here. Let's just go ahead and compress this caliper as much as possible. Now we saw those pads in there were still loose, so it did not act on the opposing piston, but it can. Especially with a multi-piston caliper, because one piston may have more friction than another, and so that piston will just stay put, thus amplifying the effect on the other piston. Okay, we'll just leave that right there, and we'll vacuum out on whatever fluid was displaced into this master cylinder. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and refill this back to its well, just under the max mark, and then we can do the fluid exchange. And do you guys know how hard it is to put magnetic flashlights on an aluminum F-150? This is ridiculous. Anyway, I'm just cracking this little valve open right here, and it's going to send some fluid into our master. This is coming out of the machine. I used all of what was in the bottle. And I didn't want to open up a second bottle. I had some extra left in the machine from last time, so we have plenty. That's good. Stop flowing now. The granite countertop guys are here. You hear them next door. Meow. They rent the space next to the building. They built like it's like an awning and stuff out there, and they just work outside because all they do is cut granite. And maybe marble. They might cut marble. Either way, they do a lot of cutting. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pressurize this master cylinder. So this thing is now receiving pressurized fluid that's coming from our reservoir right here. And it is sending that pressurized fluid into the reservoir of the master cylinder, through the lines, through the ABS pump, through these lines, and all the way to the calipers. Now the only thing I need to do is go around with the vacuum side of this machine and visit each one of these bleeder valves and just suction out some of that brake fluid until it goes from the discolored used spent fluid to a new clear fluid. And that visually is how we indicate that that section is complete. We're gonna start with the right rear, right front, and then left front. So we're gonna end here where we started. Okay, suction is suctioning. Let's go begin the process here. Swing this around over here to the side. There we go. Now, what we need to do is locate our bleeder valve. It's this guy right here. Pull the cap off. Take the hose and just hang that on the caliper. And then come back with the correct size wrench. Every time. Maybe 11? Is it an 11? It wasn't a 10. And the survey says 11 it is. All right, we'll break it loose. We'll put our hose on there. Come here, hose. Come here. Then we come in here and crack that open. We have fluid flow. We can see it, we can hear it, we can feel it. Now, we head back to the reservoir and we watch the marks on the machine. As soon as our line, because we started here, this is what we put in the master cylinder. That's where we started. Refill the master. As soon as this line drops down, right here, we can close that valve and move on to the next. So each wheel gets its own amount of fluid. Okie dokes, it's been a few minutes. This thing should be about finished on this corner, or it is about finished. So I tighten the valve, remove the vacuum. Now there's still pressure in here, so I'm gonna crack this open just to get a little bit more flow and make sure that there's no air. And that's a negative, we see no air. Sometimes you can introduce a little bit of air into the system if you unplug the vacuum line, because the entire system here is under a vacuum, and if you remove this line, it'll suck in a little bit of air real quick, and then it ends up trapped inside of the caliper. And we don't want that. Which is why I do that manual purge at the end there. Anyway, let's go over here to the driver's side rear next. And we'll repeat the process on this one, and then of course the other two. Like I said, we've already done a rather extensive video on this process, so I'm just going to move through this rather quickly. Unkick. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how nasty this fluid looks compared to the new fluid. See that? It's almost brown in color. Crack this guy open again. We have flow. And again, we just watch the machine until our mark comes down to right about here. Okay, caliper number 2 is nearly complete. Let's close this guy off. We'll inspect our fluid condition, make sure there's no air in there. Unclick. Nice, clear fluid, good to go. Seal that guy off. And moving on to the right front. My pads and rotors have just arrived, so let's go ahead and zip on through this and we can get back to installing our hard parts here. Now I do need to exercise a slight amount of caution because the bleeder is not facing vertically, or it's not at the top of this, so I really don't want to allow any air to get into it. And let it ride. Okay, this one's nearly complete. It's been a couple minutes. Close the valve, pull her open. Metal thing, gravity. Nope, still a little dark in color. Going back for round 2. Pumping, pumping, pumping. Okay, I topped off the machine with another quart of fluid. We were starting to run low. Let's see what we get here. Nice, clear fluid. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, this one is good to go. Let's go ahead and do the exchange on the other side, and then we can get the brakes back on. Recheck on the left front. Valve closed. Valve open. What do we get? Nice, clear, clean fluid. Beautiful. Okay, power this thing down. Valve off. Pressure removed. Pressure relieved. Disconnect. Disconnect again. And cap on. Click. All right, we are ready to reassemble this. Rotate this guy back around. Perfect. All right, coming in, I've got the caliper bracket. I loaded the pads. These are the Power Stop Extreme Carbon Fiber Edition pads. It has lubricated slide pins, and I've installed the new shims. Did that stuff off camera to make this a speedy operation here. New rotors coming in. It's also a Power Stop. It's painted for rust prevention. Put that guy right there. Not sponsored, that's just what I'm using. I mentioned Power Stop twice. That's just who makes them. Come here, bolt. Missed the hole. Whoopsie. Click. Make sure that's tight. Yes, it is. Give you a flip. Okay, that's still compressed to its maximum. Get in there, please. What are we doing? We're not aligned properly. There we are. 2 caliper bolts coming in. Click. You thought I was gonna forget this. And another. And bracket, again, we're loaded. It's been greased, it's been shimmed. It has pads. It's going in. If I can get the threads on there, come on. Thread before I drop this and run it. Beautimous. It was not aligning very nicely. No worries. Got it. All right. Okie dokes. I think we're good to go. Let's get the wheels on next. We'll let this thing down, torque everything, and then take it on a test drive. But first, we need to unfingerprint that which we have fingerprinted. Shiny. Ah! Alrighty, let's climb on into this beast and go for our test drive real quick. I've just revisited the transmission fluid level. If you recall, we did some work on that in the last episode, and I wanted to make sure that that level was set and appropriate, which it now is. I did have to add a little bit more. So that's good to go. Anyway, we're gonna pump the pedal up just to make sure that the calipers are not depressed, because if they are, we won't have braking force, and that would be bad. Backing up the auto. So what we're gonna do is go out and hit the road. I'm gonna make a series of light pedal pressure stops. The idea is we want to break in or burnish the pad surface, the new pad surface to the new rotor surface. That way those two are, well, they're broken in. They're working in harmony, they're working together. The reason for doing that is we want to embed some of the pad material onto the rotors, because there are microscopic peaks and valleys in the rotor surface, and we need to fill that up with some pad material. That way they are uniform all the way across. And we'll achieve that with a series of light braking events. Okay, gates open. Let's hit the road. And away we go. There's some traffic behind us, so I'm not going to do much braking through here. Maybe we'll go through the light and or go around the block or something. Alright guys, we're in some real heavy traffic, so I'm going to try to achieve this as best as possible. We're going to get a little bit of speed, 35 miles per hour words, and some light braking. I'd like to avoid coming to a complete stop, because that's where you get that embedded pad material in one section of the rotor. This point in time is a little bit critical, so I don't want to come to a complete stop. Which that was a success. We'll do a series of these types of stops here. 35 down to 10, 45 down to 15, 55 down to 20 if we can manage, which I don't think we can because I'm coming into a school zone. So we'll do a 35. Just very, very light pedal pressure, and we're just barely letting the rotors, or letting the pads put pressure on the rotors. And school zone, 20 miles per hour. Aha, exiting traffic jam. So again, light pedal pressure. Now, we're not going to avoid coming up to a red light here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come up to a complete stop, and I'm just going to click it into neutral. That way I can let my foot off the pedal and I'm not applying pressure on that rotor. Because again, we don't want to invite the opportunity of embedding too much pad material in one section of the rotor. We want it to embed uniformly while stopping. Alright guys, a couple more of these types of stops and we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and consider this video good to go. That being said, as always, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed my video. If you did enjoy my video, please feel free to let me know about that by tapping that like button down below. If you did not enjoy this video, have any questions or creative commentary, please feel free to register your comments in the comment section, also down below. While you're down there, don't forget to check out the links in the video's description, and most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of Ferd. Man, this is a crazy traffic day. This is a crazy traffic day. And we're off. More steam. More steam.